Hello and welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 213, all aboard the CSS Sales IQ, recorded on Friday, August 26th, 2022 from Zenatta Consulting. I'm Brett Martin.
I'm Tyler Colt, and let's get right on into the show.
Tyler, I thought you were going to be concerned and ask me about how I'm recovering from COVID, but no.
Yeah, I'm just not a very considerate person that way, Brett.
Dude, that hurts,
Feeling a little
man.
better this week?
I am, but if it's not one thing, Tyler, it's another. So, can I tell you a story?
Absolutely. I don't think I have a choice.
So 4 years ago, I met my dentist, and my dentist goes, actually, this is more than that. It's like, 5 years ago, 6 years ago now. And he says, you know what? I could fix your bite. And I'm like, what's the matter with my bite? No, your bite's out of line. I need to fix your bite. So he put me on Invisalign. So for 2 years, I was on Invisalign. And you know what it did? It did not fix my bite. It made my bite worse. So I recovered from COVID, and this has been a long time since I recovered. I went to my orthodontist because my bite actually needed to be fixed now. And at the ripe old age of 60, Tyler, I now am wearing braces. Yes. I will be wearing braces. And in talking to a couple of our employees who had them, of course, when they were 14 and 15 years old, these are not fun. Did you ever have braces?
Oh, yeah, I had them for a long time. My bite was
Dude,
all kinds of messed up when I was a kid. Yeah, they're
what in
terrible.
God's name?
They are terrible.
My tongue feels like it's just gone through a meat grinder.
Are yours
And
on the back or on the front? They're on the back?
well, I've got the anchors are here, and then they're on the front. But I don't know.
You have a water pick?
Oh
Gotta
yeah,
get a water pick.
I've always had one because the whole flossing thing is just not even. It's for the birds, man. It's a little weird loopy thing, and I'm like, oh, take you literally a half an hour to floss every day. So anyway, yes, I recovered from COVID, Tyler, but now I've got massive headaches. My jaw hurts. It's just no. It's I don't know.
Well, we soldier on, don't we?
Let's do that. So anyway, if I'm lisping or slurring, you know why. Well, with that, guys, let's get on to the announcements and events, shall we? As always, if you want to know what's happening in the world of Zoho, then just head on over to zenatta.com/events, and we will try to keep track of everything that's going on in the world of Zoho. We just found this one this week on the 30th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Zoho is going to have a Zoho Sign online event utilizing Zoho Sign to virtualize employee onboarding and lifecycle management. Should be a pretty good one. You can check that out. And we've also added in some new events, Inspire events, a lot of other Zoholics. We had all the Zoholics that were kind of for Europe. There are a whole bunch more, it turns out, that are going on. You've got one going on down in Singapore. You've got one over in the Philippines. These are all in-person live events. Canada's got one coming up. Spain, Milan, we've talked about all these, the Netherlands, anyway, just a whole bunch of Zoholics events. The only country that doesn't get a live Zoholic event this year is their biggest market, the United States. That's it. There are a ton. Like India's got a whole bunch coming up.
It's spread throughout the country, yeah.
Mexico has an in-person Zoholics event. Yeah. Colombia's got its own. Sydney, Australia, Auckland, New Zealand. Boom. What happened?
Our feelings are just a little bit hurt. I think it goes without saying.
Talk about it makes no sense whatsoever. Anyway, that's all. Maybe we should do them state by state. Do Zoholics California, Zoholics.
We could do a Zenholics and host our own.
Zenholics. We'd probably get sued for the Holics thing.
Absolutely.
You can't use Zoho. We'd definitely get a cease and desist there. We could do the CRM Zen live. Or CRM Zen in person, and we could do a whole CRM event that would just be about Zoholics. If we do that, though, Tyler, you know what? It'll be posted here over at zenatta.com/events. That's where we'll make that announcement. All right, buddy. With that, let's get to the news. So an absolutely deadly week in Zoho news. We ended up with two stories, but we did some digging and came up with some other stuff that kind of doesn't fit into the standard Zoho news category. So we've got four stories to discuss with you today. The first one is Sridhar has basically now has a no layoff policy. So Zoho has announced that with everything that's going on and what's happening, we will, as we move into this global recession potentially, Zoho's saying we're not going to lay anybody off whatsoever. He made that pledge in 2020. They canceled everybody's bonuses, but they said we're going to keep you around. But now they're saying no layoff, and 12,000 employees. That's up. Last time I think we had a count on this was like 9 or 10,000
Thousand,
employees, right?
yeah, like 8 or 9,000. I think was the
Yeah.
last time a number got thrown around.
Yeah, so they've definitely been hiring, and I know they've got an open rec for 2,000. So, hey, if you work for Zoho, then
Good news.
you're in good shape. You don't have to worry about your job. So there you go. All righty, and in other Zoho news, SaaS Wars. I like that. Will Google Workspace and Microsoft 365 price increases be Zoho's gain? They did a big push, and every time one of these things happens, Zoho really puts some, they get some blasts out there about, hey, come over to us, you'll save money, and it appears it worked. This article says they saw a 130 to 150% jump in monthly migrations from Google since Google price hikes were rolled out. And we talked about the bundles they have on our bundle webinar we did this month, Tyler. I mean, it's a good deal.
Yeah. Well, you get more with their kind of like workspace bundles than you get with 365 or Workspace, right? Because they're going to include Zoho Meetings, Zoho Click. I think one of the two includes Zoho Connect, and they're so much cheaper now than some of these other options that it's definitely worth taking a look at. You're always going to have those diehards that are 365 or just Google Houses for life, but for a lot of those people that don't really care, right? They kind of just picked one because it was what was in front of them. It might make a lot of sense to at least take a look at Zoho's products because most of them are just as good, if not better. And a lot of their
Yep.
bundles are actually going to include more than what you're getting with, 365 or Google.
Yeah. A lot. It's a good thing. So, I think for small businesses, this makes a heck of a lot of sense. Harder for, you know, oftentimes we'll migrate larger companies or we'll have larger companies that come onto Zoho. And it's funny, Office, the whole Office suite kind of thing is one of the more difficult things to change people off of. If they've been
Mhm.
using Excel their entire life, or they've been
Yeah.
using Microsoft Word, which most of them have, they don't want to move. It's kicking and screaming. And Outlook is the one. I mean, people have been born and raised with Outlook, right? That is their email client, and that's
Yeah.
what they have.
It's
Company
crazy
after
because I
company.
hate Outlook. I hate
I
looking at
know,
it. It's
I know.
terrible.
But they don't, it's like it's that and moving whatever your financial suite is, bookkeepers are like that's never going to happen. So those are the two ones that are kind of hard. So anyway, there we go. And so that's that story. And moving right along here, also, kind of like we said, slow news. We've got a whole bunch of new extensions for Zoho Desk that have been released all the way
New
for
and
the first.
updated. Yeah, new and updated.
Yeah, new and updated. This is for the first half of the year. Um, Normally, we wouldn't talk about these because this is really all stuff that happened in the past, and we've probably covered all these. But if you missed it, and I particularly because this is Zoho Desk, there are, we talk about this a lot, Tyler, but there are so many extensions in the marketplace for Zoho Desk that are necessary and should be part of Zoho Desk, right? And so
We
this is
have one
kind
up
of a
at the
good.
top of this list that's probably a perfect example. It's a plugin that lets you create email templates for more than one department at once. Up
Ah,
there at the very top, the broadcast email templates. Yeah, so
yeah,
that's, maybe something that really should just be part of the product. So always worth taking a look at. That's a kind of funny one. Mortgage calculator. Find the monthly payment amortization schedule of a mortgage within Zoho Desk.
yeah.
Pretty cool
Well,
things that we've done with Deluge before with like bond yield. So pretty cool little functionality there. But yeah, you're right. It's always worth taking a look at the Zoho Desk marketplace and these updates because Zoho will build a new feature to that product and then kind of quietly release it as a plugin.
yep.
So always want to keep on top of these because it might be exactly what you need to do what you do.
Yeah, and a lot of them are written by Zoho, specifically. I take it this one you're talking about here, this broadcast email template, is that a Zoho plugin?
I believe so, yeah, the
Yeah.
Zoho one.
Yeah. So, when they do them, yep, it is. It's a Zoho one, kind of one of those things. There are a lot of these that are really, really interesting, like, getting ticket details and those kind of things that you would think you'd want to have that are there. So, all right. So nice roundup there. And then wrapping up the news, you can now customize your Sales IQ live chat with custom CSS. So if you aren't
Very cool.
familiar, cascading style sheets is what CSS stands for. This allows you to totally customize your look and feel of a web page, website, those kind of things. And it provides consistency across your overall site. So you can apply CSS templates, the look and feel, and it makes it, basically gives you a nice consistent look across your website. And you can also do a lot of really interesting things with this to modify things that maybe aren't your own code and that look and feel as well. Well, now you can do that with Sales IQ. So you can, kind of customize it to the way you would like it to look, which I think is really,
It's
really
really
nice, especially
nice. Yeah, and
really nice.
it's always been pretty customizable. Their little widget. You can change the colors, put your logo. There are a couple different kind of like formats that you could do for it. But just being able to actually open it up and write your own CSS is great because then you could actually totally nail the look and feel of your website and make it feel really seamless. So really nice update. I mean, things that give us more choice and opportunity are generally always going to be a good thing to add. You don't need to use this to make your chat widget look good. But if
Right.
it's worth for your organization taking the time to really nail it, now you can dive in and do that.
Absolutely. You will need a good web developer to implement
Yeah,
this.
not
But
yeah, because you'll probably have to write the CSS in a very particular format, right, to get it to
yes.
work with
Yeah.
the widget properly.
All right. And that's kind of a nice, that's almost a little implementation there. So let's wrap up the news, Tyler, and head on over to the implementation of the week.
Alrighty, so this is a implementation that we built here that's really CRM focused. It does use a little bit of Zoho Analytics, but primarily it's a CRM build. And essentially, this was a request to build out a regular reminder that goes out to salespeople about deals that match certain criteria, right? So in this case, it was certain fields being filled in and maybe like no open task related to that deal. Obviously, where it's not closed won or closed lost. And essentially, what they want to do is roll up all the deals that match those criteria and email them to the salesperson that owns them on a weekly basis. So what we did is essentially, two ways to approach this task. You can either write a scheduled function that's going to get all of those deals kind of like not manually, but one by one within the function and check the criteria. But instead, in order to limit the API usage, the team went ahead and built a SQL table within Zoho Analytics that basically represents all of the deals that match the criteria where we want to notify the salespeople about them. Right. And so in this case, right, basically open deals without associated tasks were the key thing that we want to look at. And once that data is pulled out of analytics on a regular basis, we essentially take that data and reformat it in our script into a table using HTML. And then it will send one email to each salesperson with a list of all of the deals that they need to do something about, right? Go in here, make a task, right? Make sure you have a next step for this open deal. And lastly, just to make it easier to get where they need to go, inside of that email, there's actually a link directly to each of those deals back in the CRM so that they can just click through one by one and create the task that they need to create to keep things moving forward. So, nothing really crazy, nothing third party here, but just something really useful, right? Where you're able to kind of hold people or your sales team accountable for operating in the way that you want them to, which again, in this case, is kind of having that next action or that next step planned for any deal that's currently in the open pipeline.
Kind of fundamental. I mean, it's what we talk about, when people are implementing a CRM, is never letting anything fall through the cracks. Right. And,
Yep.
I mean, that's it. Whether it's proposal that's been sent out, or just anything that's going on. Once something's closed, just making sure those tasks, those reminders. Very, very, very nice. All right. And I guess with that, let's move on to Club Zenatta and talk about our code share of the week. All righty. This one is from Lucas. He has searching phone in contacts and leads with multiple formats. What's going on here, Tyler?
So this is kind of a common request. We'll have a new client come on and they have a challenge where leads are coming in and maybe you want to check if a lead already exists with that phone number. Maybe you want to check if a contact already exists with that phone number. But it's a little bit more complicated to do that when you're using phone rather than something like email. There's really only one way to correctly format a person's email, right? It's just their email address. With phone numbers, there could be parentheses, dashes, you could have the country code, right? You could do lots of different things to make phone numbers look weird. And so essentially what this little function is doing is it's using something called regex, which are regular expressions, to essentially create multiple different ways of searching for the same phone number against different records. Now, regex, personally to me, is one of the worst things to look at in the world of coding. It is a pain in the butt to try to code out. But essentially, it's a way to define for the script a certain format of data that it's looking for, or reformatting data to a certain format so that it can search based on that newly formatted value. So here, essentially what this code is doing is running through a couple of the common phone number formats. At the very least, it's a nice little bit of code to have up here because you could just copy the regex and use it for something else, right? Because if you're anything like me, you do not want to write regex yourself. So super useful code share here because, one, doing these types of searches for duplicate is something that we do day in and day out for people. And two, it gives you a little bit of an intro to using regex because though it is a little bit of a pain in the butt, it's very, very useful for standardizing your formatting. So good job to the team. A great one to put out here. And again, back pocket this one if you're listening, just as a place to go and get the regex code to format phone numbers properly.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I think most of the time we use the code that we're automatically just reformatting the phone numbers, right?
Yeah, that's the long term, right? Is like you just
Right.
run the regex on creation of any record, right? To essentially format it how you like it. But oftentimes, they've got 100,000 records in there and they need a
Yeah.
quick fix before we go through and kind of like normalize everything. And this is a nice way to just get that up and running.
All right. Nice job, team. And if you are unaware, check out clubzenatta.com. Club Zenatta is our little online community where if you're interested in Zoho, you can hang out. We have a general discussion forum. We've got a code share forum, which we were just talking about. You can ask us questions and Tyler and I will answer them on this show in the Q&A forum. We also, all of the news, we try to keep it posted there as well. This community has really taken off. And so head on over to club.zenatta.com and join in the community. We're up to 437 members now and growing day by day. So really happy with what's going on over here. And we'd love for you to join. It is free. Just go to club.zenatta.com and sign on up. And with that, let's move on to our read of the week. All right, this is from HubSpot, kind of coming back over here. It's how to promote your YouTube channel. This is from HubSpot's YouTube team. They should know what they are doing. And so we have got a very, very detailed article. It's a 10-minute read, kind of stepping you through all of the things you need to do. A lot of these are, I guess I would say they should be self-obvious or, self-evident.
Yeah.
You need to have compelling content, right? But then using your keywords in your headlines, descriptions, and tags, and using hashtags, a lot of people don't do it, and you have to do it. YouTube can be SEO'd and should be SEO'd. Post regularly. Those are all kind of, there's some in here that are just, like I say, if you don't, in order for we found with our channel, You have to post regularly. It has to have compelling content, and you need to SEO the heck out of it so that people can actually find it. Once you
Yeah.
do, the difference with YouTube, I think, rather than just a general search, is once you get there's YouTube likes your content, they will start pushing it. It will just start
Yeah.
appearing in people's feeds, and so you kind of need to do that. But anyway, it's a nice little
And I
article if
think
you build a YouTube
out
channel.
of any of these that are here, they seem like the most obvious ones, but number one and number five, right? And the biggest one obviously is number one. Good
Create
SEO
compelling
will get
content.
you, yeah, good SEO will help you get clicks and views. But the biggest
Yep.
thing that YouTube cares about is watch time, because from
Right.
their perspective, they can serve up a certain number of ads per minute watched, not per video viewed. So when they're trying to monetize their user base, they mostly care about if your video is generating a lot of watch time. And so, all the clickbait and the keywords and SEO and all of that is important, right? But it should all be based on making good, useful content. Because if people click through, watch 10 seconds and leave, YouTube notices that. You can't fool them just by getting views, or even worse, like paying for views or subscribers. You really just want to focus on figuring out what type of content people might want to see that's in line with what you are promoting, selling, or providing as a service. So
Yep.
it's really like number one is more important than any of the other 14 tips on this. The rest of them are good, but just, you can't fool the algorithm if your content isn't something that people want to see.
Yep. No, you can't. And so a lot here. Great job. HubSpot never does really takes a shortcut on any of their blogs. So this is a great one, and I suggest you read it. And as always, it will be in our newsletter. It'll be in the show notes. You can head over to Zenatta.com and just click on CRM Zen, and all of our show notes and all the links and everything is there. Or subscribe to our newsletter, and we deliver it to your inbox every Monday morning at 6 a.m. Pacific time. And with that, let's see what we have over on Zenatta.com. All right. So, Tyler, this is a triple tie-in blog post we have here. So, this is how much can you save by switching to Zoho One? So, this is a nice read. We talk about, we've been working on various calculators, and they were very complex. And we did a bunch of things, and I've got this massive spreadsheet that says, hey, if you have a CRM, and you have Zoho One, you got a set price. But if you have a CRM, here's how much HubSpot is. Here's how much Salesforce is. Here, all of the various ones. You've got all the different pricing around each one of these apps. Are you using Hootsuite to manage your social? Well, you can use Zoho Social for that. Are you using MailChimp? Well, you've got campaigns. Are you using Zendesk? Well, you've got Zoho Desk. So you start adding
DocuSign.
all.
Dude,
Yeah, you add all
sign
these things.
sign products are a big one because they are very expensive per user.
They are. They really are. And so, you start adding them all up and you look at, man, what are all the different applications I'm using in my company? And it can save you a lot. So this is a nice little blog post that kind of brings all of this together to give you an idea of what you can save by switching to Zoho One. And on top of that, if there's a little link in here, and it's also on our website, we now have a brand new pricing calculator. So you can add all of those things up. We kind of estimate it's about $200 per month per user for a company if they look at every single SaaS product that's covered in Zoho One, and they were to kind of put that in and say, I'm switching these over from finance to everything else across the board. So you can put in how much you pay per user, and then you can do a little slider, how many users you have. So let's say you got 125 users, you're going to save $20,000 a month with Zoho One. So it's a significant savings. You basically can use this little slider to put your employees in, actually put exactly how much you pay. So rather than us taking these guesses before where they were checking the boxes, we just decided we'd give you a little simple calculator so that you can go ahead and do that. And that is now under our resource guide. So you've got our resource library, the bundles, service status, and now we have the pricing calculator. So if you head over to zenatta.com/savings, you can calculate how much money you will save if you were to switch to Zoho One. So a nifty little calculator there. So Nice job from the team. And I said it was a triple tie-in. This is the first, and here's the second. Well, the first was the blog post. The second is the pricing calculator. You say, how did we build this nifty calculator? Well, let's talk about that on our pick of the week. Does this look familiar, Tyler?
It looks a little familiar, yeah.
This is actually really cool. This is Interactive Calculator at interactivecalculator.com, and it allows you to build a very, very nifty pricing calculator. And it can be extremely detailed. You can do, whatever you're looking for. This is, for example, this one is how many visitors do you get per day to your website? What's the average sale you make? You basically can put all this various information in. This is at a 25% conversion rate. All kinds of interesting things you can do here. On the pricing, they've really got two pricing models. You've got free, which allows you to build unlimited calculators. You can have 200 views a month. And it's got their branding is on it as well. And then you've got the paid, which jumps all the way up to $19 a month if you pay for it annually, or $30 a month if you're actually paying for it monthly. So you kind of want to pay for it annually, I would think. So $240 a year, a little less, 228. And you've got unlimited calculators, 500,000 views a month, unlimited submissions. There's all sorts of calculators.
You can calculate distances and travel duration. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So there's a little like you're going from here to here. It's a pretty cool little plugin.
Yeah. Crazy stuff you can do here. And then you can remove the branding. So pretty neat. Pretty neat across the board. So that is your the pricing calculator there. So give it a look. I think you will like that if you have something on your website. People want to calculate savings if they're using your product. A million different ways you can use this. But the web team found this. You could, of course, build this yourself. But, oftentimes it just makes so much sense to use other people's stuff, especially when they've spent so much time diving into it. So that is the triple tie-in. That is the pick of the week. Good job, team. And hopefully you can use that calculator on our website to figure out how much you're going to save switching to Zoho. One kind of ties into the bundle thing we did this week too, or this month.
I know. Look at that. It's almost like we had a plan.
We
didn't. Let's be clear, but it's almost like we did.
Oh, we did. We just, matter of fact, we were supposed to talk about the pricing calculator on the webinar, but we couldn't get it going in time. There was a lot of little things we had to fix to make that all work. So anyway, and with that, let's move on to our tip of the week, shall we? All right. John Oda is back. He is our Director of Financial Services over here at Zenatta Consulting, and he has put together a quick little 10-minute video on how to migrate from QuickBooks to Zoho Books. There's a lot more to it than this, but this gives you an idea of what you need to do. And a pretty nice video kind of stepping through the basics on that. And there's just a ton going on there. And the whole, if you're not familiar, the Zoho Finance Suite, there's so much to it. There's inventory, and there's books, and there's subscriptions. There's just a lot you can do there. And over here at Zenatta, we have an entire financial services team that basically John leads, and we do everything. So if you want to do a migration, we'll help you get that done. If you need basic bookkeeping services, we can do that as well. You need a financial review, we do that as well. So we launched this at the beginning of the year. It's been going great. So just head over to zenatta.com/finance-services, or from the main menu, just click on the services box, go to our finance services, and you can see all of the various services we offer around the financial planning side of things and getting you going with Zoho Books. And you can even fill out a form there and just get on a meeting with John directly. So you fill that out. Next thing you know, you're going to be talking to John. You can not only just watch him on YouTube, you can talk to him face to face on Zoom, and he can solve all your financial Zoho issues. So, or try anyway. And as always, if you head over to youtube.com/Zenatta, you will have access to all of our videos, and we are putting out a lot in the last 7 days, Tyler. A lot of stuff rolling out here. So we got a bunch of stuff on campaigns. We got Zoho books. We had our webinar earlier in the week. Josh wrapped up his creator series. I don't know if it's wrapped up or not, but part 4 dropped. Anyway, head on over to youtube.com/Zenatta and get all of our videos that will help you get going in the world of Zoho. Did I tell you I got braces? My mouth hurts, man. Oh, God.
You're doing good. You're almost
I
there.
feel like I got little razor blades. My tongue's all, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to make it, Tyler. All right. And with that, let's get to our Q&A. All right. Steve Slothauber. I think I got that. Slothauber.
I think so.
Steve Slothauber. He was watching 3 pro tips for lead conversion mapping in Zoho CRM. And he wants to know, hey, Zenatta team, love the content. Question, do you know, is there a way to pull the mapping via API? The convert functions don't actually overwrite a contact account if the map fields are populated with data. Have you found a way around this? Basically want to use the upsert, but I want the user to have the ability to map it themselves, i.e. not hard code the fields. Any help would be appreciated. We were talking about this offline a little bit. There's a lot of ways you could approach this,
You
I
need
guess,
a
Tyler.
weird little workaround. You would almost need like a custom form related to the lead that, you kind of create it and you choose the contact that you're going to convert it into, right? And then maybe you've got like fields that pull in from both sides and you kind of pick which one you want. But so Steve, there's a way to do it. It would require a little bit of custom development, probably a custom module. Like you wouldn't be using the native convert button because we can't really monkey with the functionality there very much. But yeah, so while there are ways to do it, there'll be a little bit of a workaround to get what you need here.
Yeah, I was thinking, I don't know, maybe if anyone from our dev team is listening, we did that really cool thing where we basically have a creator app, but when you click the button in the CRM, it's a drop down in the CRM, right? The little creator form page comes into the CRM. And I'm wondering, could you click that button, grab that data, pull it into that creator form, select the ones you want to transfer on convert, right? You want to overwrite on convert, click convert, write that, kills it. I don't know. I imagine you could.
It'd be a similar thing with the creator form custom module, right? You just need something that's bolted onto the lead where you can make those choices.
Yep. All right. And then Laura Santana J says, thank you, Tyler, for the excellent video. This is after she watched the Zoho SalesIQ Zobot tutorial that you did. Please, one question. With the answers provided by users, does SalesIQ store or provide some kind of analytics? Example, from a menu of options to analyze which was the most selected option, or even if there is an option in which the user has abandoned the chat, etc. If so, where can this be analyzed in order to improve and for us to make better decisions?
Yeah, you got to get a little clever with this one. So they don't give you really any analytics on like path, right? Where like, I don't know, Laura, if you use Zoho campaigns, right? Where you can kind of track like how many people hit each point of a workflow. Campaigns right now, or Sales IQ with the Zobot right now doesn't do that. What you could do is you could set up, in essence, like a function that would run after each of the choices that can be made that would essentially write to like a table, let's say in Zoho Analytics, right, of like Sales IQ Zobot choices, right? So you'd have like a column for visitor ID, something for like question name, question answer, right? So like as each person is answering any questions, you're invoking like an automated action that's writing that data somewhere. That being said, like I wouldn't be surprised if Zoho adds those types of analytics over time without you having to build it. But if this is like a man, I got to have this, it's not something I can wait and see. If they're going to add it, you could build kind of like your own little flow and automation, basically after each response that would write that data for you to report on later.
All righty. And then Abdul Amat asks, after watching Zoho Projects full tutorial 2022, hey, thank you. Question, is there a way you can filter tasks by a field? If there is a text field, i.e. client one, across multiple tasks inside the same project? Is there a way to filter A to Z in a field? Now, this is a whole project. So when I read this earlier, I thought he was talking CRM as a task. Is there a way to filter this, Tyler?
Should be able
Cody,
to just
you
make
know?
a custom view in your like all tasks section that would filter on a particular text field in those tasks.
Would think so. Any of our project guys are on, drop that in the chat. We can maybe add to that as well. Parveen, after watching Creating a Webhook with Zoho Flow, says, can you please tell me how to push data in Zoho Creator 6 without using Zoho Flow and Zoho CRM? I guess it's going to be API, right? Kind of be the only way there, Tyler?
Yeah, you just need to actually make an API call. Zoho Flow is kind of just an easier place to catch data with the webhook because you don't need to do like OAuth and things like that. But if you're not going to use Zoho Flow, you'll have to actually just hit the API.
All right, and Bright Lights asks, after watching our Zoho Desk full product tutorial 2022, is it possible for employees as well as IT staff to copy and paste pictures into tickets? It's not possible for anybody to copy and paste
I wish.
anything
Yeah,
in
I
Zoho
wish. You have
Desk.
to use the embed image, and there's two embed image buttons. One of them attaches it, and one of them actually embeds it. I think the one that's up at the top of the text editor is the one that actually embeds it properly. So you might just need to do that. I wish though, I wish you could just drag it in like you can in Gmail, from my desktop. I have thought the same thing, Bright Lights, about Zoho Desk. But as of right now, you just have to use the embed image
Yeah,
feature.
I think if you drag an image from your desktop into the browser, I think it like
It
overwrites
attaches
it.
it, I think.
It
Yeah,
attaches
it
it.
does
Right,
something
right, right.
weird. Yeah.
It doesn't do anything. Right,
It doesn't
right.
do what you think it's gonna do.
Right. Renee Bell, after watching Getting Started with Zoho Creator Part 4, User Roles and Permissions, says, greetings. Is it possible to utilize CRM accounts, the accounts module in CRM, as a lookup to connect these records to a creator application? If so, is there something on Club Zenatta or one of your resources that talks about that? Yes, it is possible. We do it all the time, but it is, I don't think we have anything on that, do we?
Yeah, not particularly. Might be a good idea for a video. I think the thing that's important to keep in mind is that you'll create your lookup in Creator. Not you can't really have in CRM that a CRM account looks up into Creator. You'd have something in Creator that looks up to your CRM account. So yeah, it's honestly a good idea for a video. Maybe I'll pester Josh to put that on his list, kind of a walkthrough of the integrations, right, of Creator to CRM and some of the other applications, because we do find ourselves using it as kind of like an extension of CRM pretty often.
And good news, Renell, Josh just said this will be the next video. So Josh is
He'll
going
get your
to
way.
post that video up. What is this? It's like, hey, everybody, thank you for listening for KFI. This is All Requests Friday night. We hope as you're driving across the country that, here's a request for you. It's coming at you. It's linking accounts, looking up accounts in CRM in Zoho Creator. This is by Josh Oliver, and it's coming to you. And here we go. Josh, play him out, will you? I'm looking up requests. Anyway, I've lost my mind. And Greg wants you to know, Tyler, that you are correct. You can set up a custom view over in projects. The downside is you'll have to look up one for every single, make a custom view for every single different that you wanted to
Got
have
it.
there. Anyway.
Okay.
I got my mind back now. I'm here. All right. Steve, following up on a question we answered last week. Actually, he did this pretty nice. Today, he asked this question. Looking forward to today's show. I have one question. Is it possible to create a custom function inside inventory to create exchanges? We have customers changing minds all the time, and it's frustrating. I don't think it is it?
It's not like directly, because really with inventory to do an exchange, you kind of have like two options. To get the product that you sold that they're going to give back, you'll need to use essentially like a credit note to process your return. So you have kind of like a credit note against your invoice, against your sales order. And then for the product that they now want, you could add it to the existing sales order, but it may be a better practice, depending on how you account for things, to create a new sales order for it. Really, the only way I could rationalize like giving you, let's say, like one screen to do this type of operation, it's not particularly easy. You would need to do something in like probably Creator, where you are choosing, you're inputting like a sales order number that they want to do an exchange against. Maybe it's pulling in the items that are on that order, and you kind of remove and add. And then when you submit it, it goes ahead and it does whatever we've decided is the proper way, right? So obviously it's going to create the credit note because we know that that has to happen. And then the alternative would be, does it create a new sales order? Does it update the existing? So while it is possible, it is not a quick little one-step function. It's kind of like a little tool you would need to build to manage your exchanges a little more smoothly.
All righty. And Dax asks, after watching Zoho Analytics, formula columns, aggregate formulas, and basic SQL 2022, is there a formula to count the number of comma-separated strings in a column? Go ahead, Tyler.
Yeah, n+1, where n equals the number of commas. So you should be able to use, I forget the name of it. If you opened up a formula column, maybe Greg or someone can drop it in chat. It's like counting the occurrences of something in a string. So you'd essentially just need to count the occurrences of a comma and then add one, assuming that there's no comma at the end, right? So each thing is followed by one comma that's in your list, other than the last thing in your list. So if you count all the commas and add one, you should have the number of items that are in that comma separated list.
And Dex, this is the classic. If you were just to ask this question over at club.zenatta.com, you would have had an answer. Someone could give you the exact string, exactly what you need to do. Make it pretty easy here. All right. And Matt asks, has anyone been able to access the updated email parser? I filled out the form a week or so ago and I haven't heard anything. It's kind of elusive there, Matt. I think we did get it finally turned on for clients.
Yeah, they're rolling it out in waves. You kind of have to pester them a little bit to get on the list for it.
Yeah, but it looks pretty slick. I think we did try that. We have good reviews so far, right?
Definitely better than the old one. I mean, email parsers are always going to have issues, because they're never going to be perfect, but it is much better than the old one.
All right, and from our live chat session over on YouTube, hi, I'm trying to do email relay on my Zoho CRM so I can send emails from my own SMTP server, but so far I have not been successful. Please help. You go into CRM, you go into settings, you click on mail, and you're going to have choices. They're going to give you basic ones. It's going to be Zoho Mail, Gmail, Office 365, other. And you're just going to choose other, and you're going to put in your settings. It's kind of it. If you put in your SMTP server settings, then, you're good to go. You basically, you want to do your IMAP SMTP, you can set it all up there. You can send and receive out. But if you, anything I missed there, Tyler?
No, I think that covers it.
All right. And Donetta Bird asks, in your email for this event, Zoho Mail warned about it coming from an unverified email. I'm in the process of setting up Zoho campaigns. How do I avoid this on my list of getting this message? Yeah, this is really, really, really bizarre, Donetta. So you're using Zoho Mail and you're getting this email from Zoho campaigns from us, from the Zoho campaigns email address. It started flagging this a month ago.
Is it just for Zoho Mail?
No, yeah, it appears to be just Zoho Mail, and it's really odd. It's actually showing, you're probably seeing like the from on this is some really weird thing, like I don't know. It's a very weird from email address. It's a Zoho from email address, but it's an odd one. It's called like unbounce dash underscore dot Zoho, whatever. We're looking into it. This has to do with the new upgrade from Zoho to Zoho Campaigns, the changeover on Zoho Campaigns. Wayne was talking to me about it just yesterday. We were having this conversation, and there are issues that are cropping up all over the place with campaigns since this new global rollout has happened. It's kind of causing fits. This is one of those things. So hopefully it gets fixed soon. I don't know if we've seen our delivery go down. I haven't looked at the back end, but we had, excellent delivery. I mean, we actually ran tests about 6 months ago where just to see delivery rates, we ran our newsletter through Constant Contact. We ran our newsletter through MailChimp, and we ran it through Zoho Campaigns, and delivery was great across the board. Campaigns was just as good, if not better. Yes, it does from me, but Zoho Mail something. Yes, Zenatta, that's correct. So
Yeah.
anyway, there's a problem. Don't know what it is.
And the main
All
thing
right,
you want to
and
do though, Zenatta, in general, so outside of like weird little Zoho Campaigns issues, is you just want to make sure you have your SPF and DKIM records set up in Campaigns. Those are the two most important ways to make sure that your deliverability stays good. And that essentially is just something that's validating when an email client receives an email from you. It can go and check those records on the mail server that it's coming from and make sure that they're allowed to send as you. So that's kind of the most important piece that you'll want to make sure you have set up on the campaign side. And it looks like Greg here, this is going back to the question that was asked about counting the items
commas.
in a comma separated list. So yeah, it's substring count. You grab your string column, the separator, which would be comma, and then your +1. So here he's got kind of an example for it. So definitely doable. Just need that substring count where you're looking at that list column and then you're counting the commas.
Yep. All righty, and that is going to wrap it up. Tyler, good show.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
It is.
Hoping your mouth doesn't hurt you too bad this week as you get used to that.
That's just crazy. Anyway, I don't know how you kids put up with this when you were young. I would have been kicking and screaming. Anyway, as always, if you want to reach out, meet with Tyler and myself, talk to us about how we can help you with your Zoho implementation, you can do so over at Zenatta.com. If you want to participate in our community, ask us a question, get your questions answered, answer other people's questions, please head over to club.zenatta.com and participate in our community.
And on the website is where you'll find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. We'd love if you would follow us on your favorite social media platform and subscribe to us here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.
All righty.
Thank
you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
We will see you soon. Take care. Have a great weekend.